This is day 3 of Advent of Code, and the challenge is called Rucksack Reorganization. One elf has the important job of loading all the rucksacks with supplies for the jungle journey. Unfortunately, the elf didn't quite follow the packing instructions, and so a few items need to be rearranged. Each rucksack has 2 large compartments. All items of a given type are meant to go into exactly one of the 2 compartments. The elf that did the packing failed to follow this rule for exactly 1 item type per rucksack. The elves have made a list of all the items currently in each rucksack, your puzzle input, but they need your help finding the errors. Every item is identified by a single lowercase or uppercase letter, that is A and A. Lowercase a and capital case A refer to different types of items. The list of items for each rucksack is given as characters all on a single line. A given rucksack always has the same number of items in each of its 2 compartments. So the first half of the characters represent items in the first compartment, while the second half of the characters represent items in the second compartment. For example, suppose you have the following list of contents from 6 rucksacks. So the first rucksack contains items letters V through P, which is this one, which means its first compartment contains the items V, J, R, etc., while the second compartment contains items H to P. Okay, so the first compartment's this, so from here to here, and then here to here. The only item type that appears in both compartments is lowercase p. The second rucksack's compartment contain J, Q to L, and RS to SL. The only item that appears in both compartments is uppercase L. The third rucksack's compartments contain P, M here to halfway, and then VP to G. The only common item is uppercase P. Row 4, lowercase v, TS. To help prioritize item rearrangement, every item type can be converted to a priority. Lowercase item types A through Z have priorities 1 through 26. Uppercase items types capital A to capital Z have priorities 27 to 52. In the example above, the priority of the item type that appears in both compartments of each rucksack is 16, 38, 42, 22, 20, 19. The sum of these is 157. Find the item type that appears in both compartments of each rucksack. What is the sum of the priorities? Okay, so let's get the puzzle input. We will then copy it into our input text file, and we can get started. So we're going to need an array of all the characters, so lowercase and uppercase. So I'm going to do the painful way of manually typing out all the characters. Okay, I verified that I typed out all the characters correctly, but what I'm actually going to do is turn the string into a character array, because we will be going through the line inputs, which are a string, and then going through each letter that's in it. So we will then do for each var line in input. We will then need to turn the line into the 2 compartments, so we'll do var compartment 1 equals line dot substring 0 line dot length divided by 2. Then we'll do the same thing for compartment 2, which will be, I think, the same thing here. So I'm just gonna console.write line, the line, and then the 2 compartment lines, just to verify that it's all correct. Okay, so that seems to be correct. So what we now need to do is figure out which letters appear in both. So we can go through all the characters in compartment 2, and then we can check to see if that character exists in the compartment 1 string. So if dot contains C. That's right, we also need to have an int priorities for doing the output. So when we do that, we need to do priorities plus equals, then we need to find where this character fits, the index of the character in this character array. So let's look up how to C# get index of item in array. Okay, I'm sure the index of 1 will work. So plus equals characters dot index of C. Then once that's found, we'll break from there, and it should go on to the next one. And then we will do a console dot write line for priorities dot toString. So let's run this and see how that goes. Okay, so apparently I did index of incorrectly, so let's go back. Array index of. Oh, it's the class array.index of, and then you put it in there. Okay, so array index of, like this. Now let's give it a shot. Okay, so the number it's output is 7667. So let's see if that's correct. Okay, so the answer is 2. Oh, okay, I forgot to do +1 for this because it's starting at index 0, but for the alphabet numbers it's starting at 1. So +1. Then let's run this, and that should have worked now. Yep, 7967. So turn to day 3, and we'll input that number again to see if it works correctly. Okay, so that was correct. That is part 1 completed. Now let's go on to part 2. For safety, the elves are divided into groups of 3. Every elf carries a badge that identifies their group. For efficiency, within each group of 3 elves, the badge is the only item type carried by all 3 elves. That is, if a group's badge is item type B, then all 3 elves will have item type B somewhere in their rucksack, and at most, 2 of the elves will be carrying any other item type. The problem is that someone forgot to put this year's updated authenticity sticker on the badges. All of the badges need to be pulled out of the rucksack so the new authenticity stickers can be attached. Additionally, nobody wrote down which item type corresponds to each group's badges. The only way to tell which item type is the right one is by finding the one item type that is common between all 3 elves in each group. Every set of 3 lines in your list corresponds to a single group, but each group can have a different badge item type. So in the above example, the first group's rucksacks are the first 3 lines, and the second group's rucksacks are the next 3 lines. In the first group, the only item type that appears in all 3 rucksacks is lowercase r. This must be their badge. In the second group, the badged item type must be Z. Priorities for these items must still be found to organize a sticker. Attachment efforts here, they are 18R for the first group and 52Z for the second group. The sum of these is 70. Find the item type that corresponds to the badges of each 3 elf group. What is the sum of the priorities? Okay, that sounds easy enough. So we'll grab the code that's in part 1 and put into the part 2 method function, and we will change that. So instead of it being line by line and splitting it into half, we'll need to be grabbing 3 lines at a time. So what's the best way to do that? We'll just do a basic counter. So int line count equals 0. Then we'll do var lines equals string array of 3, new string of 3. So we'll do if lines is less than 3. Oh, line count is less than 3. Lines with an index of line count will equal line, and we'll do line count plus plus. We will then do here if line count equals 3. This is when we'll actually do the checking. So we'll do a similar thing here where we're going through doing a for each, but what we'll do is we'll do car matches equals new list of characters. So for each C in, we will do line count 1. If line count 0 contains C, we'll add it to this car matches list. So go through like that, and then we will do a for each for the third line, and then if car matches contains C, this is when we'll do the math for adding it. So we'll grab, so priorities plus equals here. Then at the bottom here we will recreate this array here, change line count to 0, and hopefully that's all we need to do for this to work. So let's run it and see how it goes. Okay, it's given us 2716. Let's import that and see if that's correct. that ended up being correct. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos that are added to this Advent in Code 2022 playlist.